Let's take a look.
Okay, so after the recent Zato matches I fought, I decided to do some labbing to try and counter some of the stuff he was using against me so I can fight him a bit better in the future. This first bit is Break the Law special, I believe. He was PRCing it into 2k quite often, so I labbed a bit to see what I could do against it. You can throw him out of it, but depending on the spacing, it can be a bit dangerous, and he can bait this option, as you just saw there. So it is effective, but it's dangerous. You can backdash it. I was trying to backdash it in the match, but I wasn't really successful at it. You've got to time it well, depending on the normal he uses. But it is much easier just to hit him out of it with fast normals, like 2k and 2p, or 5k. 5k in particular, when you have meter, leads to massive combos because of how squishy Zato is, so this is overall a pretty strong option. You can also run away from him, because if he's PRCing out of the special, he can't really chase you when you do super jump, so it's a free option to try and get away from it if you don't want to contest it. This situation is when he was using oppose in the corner. I keep calling that repose, but it's not, it's oppose. And I've known how to counter this for a while, but I never really labbed it, so I just thought I'd give it a go to see how it works, and this is how it works. Basically, you RC your normals that are absorbed by oppose, which hits Zato, and as you see, you can get full combos like that. It's a fairly easy counter, but you do need meter to do it, so just keep that in mind. There is another option you can do. You can use super instead of the RC. This option also works pretty well, but be warned, this option can be baited where the the red RC can't as much, so the red RC is better. You can also try to do like jump cancel stuff with 5k if you want to try that, but I don't think it's too good, and you can just reactively run in and throw him if he's using it too much. As you just saw there, super jump as well isn't too bad of an idea. Another option he was using a lot is this. This is a Drunkard Shade into Drill. I didn't realise in the set he was using this option as much as he was. I only actually realised this when I watched the replay back. So it was actually quite useful for me to watch that back, otherwise I would never realised I wasn't countering this effectively. But I find the easiest way to counter this is to kill Eddie after he's thrown him at me using Drunkard Shade. But as you just saw, depending on the spacing, it's a little bit finicky, so make sure you're spaced appropriately, otherwise he can cross you up and he can go into a sandwich pressure, which is very dangerous. I find using fast normals like 2p and 2k to be the best options of killing it, but 2s works as well. Also, you can special cancel these normals after killing Eddie, so you can challenge after, like that. I think that's a pretty good option because he usually runs in after he does drill. At least the Zato I played did, so it could be a useful option. You can also air dash like that, but be warned, if he's playing reactively, he can easily 6p you there, so it is an option, but I wouldn't be too reliant on it. This is another situation I got caught in when he kind of pinned me in the corner and he was using frog to like stop me jumping out into air dashing. Sometimes he did it meaty, sometimes he did it slightly delayed, sometimes he really delayed it, and it kept catching me in the corner, so I wanted to see how I could get out of this and deal with it. As you just saw, instant air dashing doesn't work, I lose flat out. But if I play a little bit more reactively, I can easily kill it with a 2p, not 2p, sorry, 5p. Other normals work as well, I believe, yep, 5k works pretty well. Remember, you can special cancel these normals as well, so killing the frog isn't too difficult. You can also use 6p, I believe, yes. So, I think in this situation, if I'm expecting frog, I should play more reactively and just not jump, just hit normals, as you saw there. Regular jump is okay, but I have to block it in the air, which leaves him plus, so it's not as good an option. Although air dashing is pretty good, but as you saw there from the position it left me in, it can be a bit dangerous if he knows about it, and he can challenge that, maybe throw me, maybe hit a button, maybe 6p. So killing the frog, as you just saw there, seems to be the better option. Just play a little bit more reactively. This also was coming in, like this situation was happening quite a bit where after the wall break I was losing to 2s. And I don't know why, so I decided to lab it. And apparently I was using literally the one option, or mostly the one option that is 2s beats, which is charged S Reaper, sorry, uncharged S Reaper and slightly charged HS Reaper. If I just hit a button like 2s or 5H or 4s, or uncharged HS Reaper, all of them would beat the 2S. I'm just so unlucky that I picked the one option, or well, two options, that lose to his 2S. Which is really unfortunate because, well, the 2S there, as you see, does pretty well at stopping this, but you can get a hell of a lot more if you use bigger buttons. That super does combo there, but the Nostrovia super doesn't combo, unfortunately. But 5H is very effective here, as I'll show in a moment. Forest also works similarly to the 2S, but 5H in this situation after non-super wall break is extremely strong. 2S whiffs if I don't do anything, so I can whiff punish him if I choose to. So in this situation, I'm actually more, it's a more advantageous situation for me than it is for him, because my buttons for the most part beat his out. I just need to pick them accordingly. So you can do something like that. Chuck out the Grave Reaper, then run in for pressure. So that is a very strong option, and I decided I would lab multiple options he can use in the situation, and for the most part, 5H beats all of them, at least the ones that he was using consistently, which was 2S, 5H, and 6H, I believe. All of them resulted in counter hits, and all of them are very easy to combo on hit into this, and then I can go into pressure. So yeah, I was just really stupid here. Instead of varying up my options and trying different buttons, I just kept doing Grave Reaper over and over and over again, which resulted in me getting counter hit and you know, getting put into Zato's offense, which was causing me to lose a lot. So yeah, labbing this was pretty damn important. I'm really surprised how effective the 5H is, in all honesty, in this situation. I should have actually labbed to see if the 5H whiffs here. I believe it will, considering the range, but due to how disjointed it is, I don't think he could whiff punish it too easily. He would have to use Eddy, so I still think it overall is a pretty good option. 2H also works there, as you saw against the 5H, but I wouldn't use it too much unless you are really calling out that 5H. You do get pretty good combos though. This isn't an actual combo, this drops, but it can lead into a mix-up there if you want to, you know, go for a setup using the super. But again, like the 2H, it loses to the 2S and it loses to the 6H, as I'll show in a moment, I believe. But yeah, 6H in this situation is also pretty good. You have to kind of, as you see in the video, you have to do a little shimmy first to get it to work. If you do it just raw, you will lose to the 5H. But you can get pretty massive combos from this if it hits, because you can just go straight into super. I prefer here to buffer super after doing the 6H, it just makes it easier to hit confirm it. And he loses half of his health for that, so that is really good. That right there can completely change the round if it's successful, so I think that's a very strong option to present if he's using 5H a lot there. But overall, I think 5H is the most consistent option. As you just saw there, 2S is safe to the 6H, even on whiff, because of how slow his 6H is. Once again, Forest works well. So I think overall in this situation, if you're not, you know, very certain on what button he's going to use, I think 2S and 5H are at the moment my go-to buttons. I think he could probably 6p the 5H, but due to how disjointed the 5H is, it would clash, so I still think it would be in Testament's favour. Especially if you special cancel it on clash into, you know, Grave Reaper or Orbiter Sign or something else. You can also use 6H, as I just said there, to beat Zato's 6H. You can still do the shimmy here to hedge your bets against both of his heavy slash normals, his 5H and his 6H. But the timing is really tight to do the 6H shimmy against his 6H, so I would practice it a little bit if you're going to use that option. Zato also kept doing this on me when I was in the corner, the 6H, air dash, jump K, jump D. This isn't real. I knew it wasn't real, but I've never labbed it, so I didn't really know how to punish it. But that right there seems like a pretty damn solid punish. You can mash 2p to interrupt the air dash. I tried mashing 5p and I couldn't get it consistently, so I think 2p is just a better option, but overall 6p is even stronger as it leads into hefty damage, so I think the risk reward in that situation is actually in Testament's favour and I should be using that option a lot more. He kept doing this like super jump float, or flight, whatever you want to call it, and I couldn't figure out how to anti-air him or like deal with this very well. I was initially at the start of the set running away from him, which was very, very good of me actually, but I made a stupid mistake and I stopped doing it. So I decided to lab some other options other than just running away from him. One of the options I've seen from labbing that seems to be very effective is super jumping into normals, because Testament and Zato's super jump height is the same, so I can chase him down even when he's at the top of the screen with jump normals. Jump E is the safest and Jump S has better range, and because of how active it is, you can kind of use the Jump S on the way up, which makes it very effective. The Jump D is also very effective, but one thing you have to keep in note is that the Jump D stalls Testament's air momentum. So if you press the Jump D too early, you won't be high enough to hit Zato. A kind of an adaptation to the running away strategy is, because Zato struggles, like if Zato does that and he goes from like left to right, he struggles to go back to left very quickly, so if you run under him and then do a anti-air Reaper, he can't really challenge it too well by the looks of it, so I think that's going to be a pretty good option as well. You can also chuck out Air Reapers if you want, which is also pretty good, but it's more spacing dependent. He kept jumping out of my corner pressure. This is more so a problem that I had because I was structuring my corner pressure to linearly. I was using the same corner pressure over and over and over again, so it was very easy for him to jump out of it. But yeah, I decided to lab a little bit here. I need to lab this a little bit more in the future just to expand my corner pressure options, but one thing you can do is you can use anti-air unholy diver to pin him in the corner after the 6H. And you can also do the ground arbiter sign, the low one that also pins him, but the overhead doesn't. So if he's fuzzy jumping a lot after 6H, you do have some options you can do if you want to like play a little bit more autopilot-y that stop him from jumping out, including a partially charged HS Reaper that also works, but the uncharged version doesn't. I found from just a little bit of labbing that being at around kick range seems to be better, because I can jail him in the corner a lot more easily with kick normals. So I'm definitely going to have to lab this a little bit more and expand my options in the corner and really start to develop my corner pressure a lot more just to make it a lot more threatening. You can frame trap here, you can also just catch the jump if you just want to keep the pressure going. So there's a couple of different options here, and yeah, my corner pressure just isn't very good at the minute, so this is an area I need to look into more in the future, but this is just some, you know, preliminary early development stages of me looking to advance it a little bit more just to make my pressure more dangerous. This also is very effective. I've known about this technique for a while, but I haven't really implemented it because I'm not consistent enough with it. This is something I'm definitely going to look into a little bit more, because the Cora Cancel HS Reaper frame traps, and it's hellishly plus on block, and it gets combos on hit, so it's very good in that sense, and it also counteracts FD a little bit, so I need to put this more in, but I will probably do a video in the future going over corner pressure as I slowly develop it. But yeah, that's just a quick labbing session over some Zato counterplay that I've discovered. I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.